You're on time. Uh-oh. Red warning flash, but I don't know what the hell it said. And Ron's here, so I guess it's music time, if the goddamn chat will cooperate. Broadcasting live from the basement storeroom of station WDWL TV. It's the pride of the station. Me, the grumpy old man. And, I'm fucking grumpy right now. Let's do a Kaiser roll call. Okay, Linda's here, Ron's here, Kathy's here. Okay, roll call's over. If it had been Kaiser's show, we'd be ending. My blood pressure hasn't come down yet. Let's start off with Wednesday. I come out of Mark's, and there's a shopping cart rammed into the ass end of the shitbox. And I have a cracked taillight. First of all, the shopping cart wasn't even supposed to be out in the parking lot. Somebody had lifted it over the fencing because they have pipe all the way around so you can't take your carts out. So evidently somebody was screwing around playing with a fucking shopping cart and give it a shove, and into the ass end of my truck it went. So I'm pissed off because it's not like you can go to your local Nissan dealer and buy a taillight for its almost 30-year-old pickup truck. So it wasn't cracked that bad, but it was cracked. An hour ago, I go up to my Indian store to get smokes. As I'm approaching the cash register, a guy comes running in from the parking lot and he says, "Hey, that guy that just ran out of here hit your truck." I said, "What?" He says, "Oh yeah, he busted your fucking taillight and he's trying to take off." Row! Out the door I went, and he's pointing to the guy getting into a PU Cruiser or a Chevy, whatever the hell, HHHHHH. So I run around to the driver's side, and I'm yelling, "Stop!" And he's starting to back out. So I reached in to grab his shirt. Well, as I reached in to grab his shirt, I knocked his fucking glasses off. And I'm yanking on his shirt, and I'm telling him, "Shut the truck off, shut the truck off." So finally he shuts it off, and well, luckily I knocked his glasses off because he's blind as a bat. Little stinking drunken Mexican guy. So the guy that came in to get me said, while I was chaining my bicycle up, he came up over the curb, almost hit the guy chaining his bicycle, jerked the wheel to the right, and tore the taillight right off the shitbox. Then he was going to take off. Well, I almost dragged him through the window of his goddamn truck. And he smelled like a brewery on top of it. So I said to him, I'm calling the fucking police. You're fucking drunk. And you were going to take off. I didn't hit your truck. I didn't hit your truck. I said, if you didn't hit my truck, how do you know why I'm ripping your ass out of your vehicle? So by now, a crowd is forming. And he finally gets out. And I walked him over by the shirt. And there's the goddamn taillight busted out of the truck. Oh. So I says, I'm calling the fucking cops. You're drunk. Oh, no. Well, I should have called the police. Because he was fucking drunk. And he was attempting to take off. So I've got him like you'd see on goddamn cartoon. You know, I'm just about strangling him with his fucking shirt. I said, what are you going to do about this? I said, your insurance company would love to hear about you driving drunk and attempting to do a hit and run. By now he's flailing his arms. I couldn't understand half the fucking shit he was saying because I don't understand Spanish. So he was attempting to get away from me. Well, I'm in and out of the store so much. And there's so many repeat customers. We all kind of know one another. Because, like, when I go in at 5 o'clock, like I did today, the same customers are there. Well, there's this big black guy that's like 7 foot tall and 300 pounds. And he reached over and he took the little guy by the shirt. And he says, what are you going to do about this? Of course, the little guy is like, I think he was shitting his pants at the same time. So, I mean, the truck's a shitbox. Right now, with a broken taillight, it's a total loss, you know. So the black guy goes, give him $100 right now. And the little Mexican guy is like, oh, no pay, no. And he's lifting him up a little more. Give him $100 right now, or we're calling the police, and I'll hold you here till they get there. Well, he reached in his wallet, and money went everywhere. So he's scrambling on the ground. Next thing you know, up comes a $100 bill. The black guy, he told me his name. I'm bad with names. He goes, will that handle it? I said, yeah, that'll handle it. And then he commenced, oh man, he got right in his face and he says, you ever do that again, I'm going to kick your ass. I think the little Mexican guy not only shit himself, I think he pissed himself too. So that was my afternoon. Although I am lucky because the way he broke the taillight where the shopping cart hit it had fractured it in two places. Well, when he hit the fender of the truck, the way he caught the taillight, the outer cover popped off. So I can put it back together because there ain't nowhere I'm going to find a goddamn taillight. And I will be using flex tape to put my taillight back together. And I'm $100 richer. But this guy was literally going to, and then he's telling me, I ain't paying you because your truck is junk. It don't make no difference if it's junk. I know it's junk. Every time I slam a door, another piece of the body falls off it. It gets me to from point A to point B, and from point B back to point A with no problems. Don't tell me it's junk. I already know that. I was like, Jesus Christ. And he knew he hit me. Because he stopped for a minute and he looked and he literally saw the damage. He pulled all the way around to the far end of the parking lot, dashed in the store, got his cigarettes, and dashed back out. So he figured nobody was going to say anything. I wouldn't notice till I got home, which I wouldn't have. And he was going to fucking drive off. Drunk? Oh, God. The inside of his vehicle smelled like stale beer. Not to mention, so did he. I just couldn't. I guess this is the way people are today. Does that mean, like, if I'd have been driving a Rolls Royce, he would have stopped immediately and waited until I came out and gave me his name and address and phone number and insurance company? I don't think so. But because I'm driving a rusty, rotten piece of shit truck, oh, it's junk. Bah. The nerve of fucking people. And then the guy that was chaining his bicycle to the telephone pole said that he had to jump out of the way because the guy come barreling in over the sidewalk. Oh, I reached right in that truck and I grabbed his goddamn shirt. He's fumbling around for his glasses. I'm pulling him out the window of his truck. And then once he saw a crowd was forming, he got out, but he started giving me a rash of shit. Until I dragged him over to look at the damage he did. You know, if I was to hit somebody's vehicle, I would wait. I don't care where I had to go. I would wait till they came out and said, hey, I'm sorry I hit your vehicle. Here's my information. Here's my insurance. Call them. They'll take care of it with no problem. Because I've done some stupid accidents and Progressive has taken care of them. Most of mine are backing accidents. Oh, Linda, when I got a good whiff of the inside of that goddamn HHHH, oh, it stunk. It smelled like stale beer. Not to mention, he reeked. I should have. I should have called the police. Because he needed to get cited for DUI. The only problem is, I'd have called the police. It would have taken Cleveland about 5 hours to get out there. By then, he'd have been fairly sober. And they probably wouldn't have cited him anyway. That's the fun of living in goddamn Cleveland. Not to mention, they'd have said, oh, hey, it happened on private property. We can't do nothing about it. Because if you get hit in a shopping center, it's private property. You get hit in a little mom and pop store parking lot, it's private property. They won't do anything. All the police will do is tell you exchange information and let your insurance company work it out. Not to mention, I don't need an excuse to get canceled. Even though it was parked. Insurance companies look at it as you being involved in an occurrence. That's the way they look at it. Oh, well, it was your vehicle and you're involved. Because, once you get over 65, insurance companies just look for an excuse to get rid of you. Now, I've been with Progressive 26 years. I've had 2 stupid backing accidents in 26 years, which they forgave me for. But I don't need to run the risk of getting canceled, especially when I'm looking at adding a third vehicle to the policy. Oh, I'll tell you what, the guy on the bike said, had he not caught this guy out of the corner of his eye, he'd have gotten run over. Because he literally had to jump out of the way. And the guy came up at an angle over the sidewalk in between a telephone pole and my truck. I don't know why he was pulling in the parking lot over the sidewalk. Too goddamn lazy to make the turn to come in the parking lot off the street, I guess. I don't. But like I say, Linda, that would have been an extremely low priority call. So I just sat there at least 2 hours, if not longer, because we're so short on police officers in this city the way it is. So hopefully, well, I did kind of a test fit. I can get the tail light back together and I can tape it up with my flex tape and it'll be waterproof. And I couldn't believe this guy. He was literally going to take off. And then I'd have come out, and I wouldn't have noticed until I got home, because I always walk around my truck, mainly the back end, to make sure my ratchet strap is tight, still holding my tailgate on. And then I'd have spotted the broken taillight and went, how the hell did this shit happen? And then you had the nerve to tell me, it's junk anyway. I really wanted to bust the windows out of his HHHHHH, but I'll tell you what, for doing a quick reach in the window, I got a hold of that shirt and gave it a good twist. Now, he didn't want to get out. I started dragging him out the fucking window. And you know, part of this problem is there's a good possibility he probably didn't even have insurance. Because there are so goddamn many people driving without insurance today. It's disgusting. Because in Ohio, you don't have to show your insurance card. You sign a form that said, yes, I have insurance here. And I have yet to be in the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and somebody go, oh, no, I don't have insurance. Biggest joke I've ever seen. And me and my congresswoman have gone round and round over this. I says, why can't they pass some legislation that makes you prove you have insurance? Because Ohio does not write 3-month policies. There are a lot of states that write a 3-month policy. So before you get your license plates, you buy insurance. Then you go in and get your license plates. Then at the end of the 3rd month, fuck the insurance. Yeah, and the one time I didn't have my little buddy in my shoulder holster. I was like, why put it on to go to the store? Yeah, he very easily could have had one in the truck and just, oh, ouch. Yeah. And 99% of the time, I am armed. And it's hanging right there on the hook. Shoulder holster is hanging right there. Because usually what I do is I put my shoulder holster on, grab my cell phone and my keys, and out the door I go. Today I was like, I'm just going to dash up and come back. I bet you he'd have shit a brick if he'd have seen me armed. The one day I don't put it on, I have a problem. Although as pissed as I was, I'd have had it up. Get out of your car. Nah, then I'd have got arrested. That's part of the problem when you're packing. It's too easy to pull it. So maybe it was good that I didn't have it. But since Ohio passed the law that you don't need a permit, I've been carrying ever since. Except today. And if I don't have my 9, I grab my little 25 and throw it in my pocket. That's a neat little piece. I've had that. I think I bought that one in like 1975. A Raven Arms 25 automatic stainless steel. Oh, nice little, a cute little thing. I used to carry that all the time because you can throw it in your pocket. Nobody even knows you got it. No, because you can open you can concealed carry, or like me, open carry, as long as I didn't remove it. Just in the holster, no, that's not considered brandishing. If I would have pulled it out and went, get out of your fucking truck, that's brandishing. Yeah. And believe me, you know what it is. Yeah, if I would have done now, as pissed as I was, I probably would have pulled it and forced him out of his truck. At that point, I go to jail. Grumpy don't look good in jail. It's also very hard to do a YouTube show in jail. And my attorney doesn't need any more money. Well, I'm sure he would like more money, but I have the attorney that people hate. When I tell them who my attorney is, they're like, "Oh, that asshole." First of all, he's totally bald, and his slogan is, "I'll make them pay." And he does his commercials that way. Just remember, I'll make them pay. And he's got billboards all over the city. I'll make them pay. And a couple of times I needed him, he made people pay. He took a good cut, but he made people pay. Yeah, when my buddy down the street found out who my attorney was, He goes, that asshole. Do you know who I'm talking about, Sherry? You've had to see the commercials and the billboards. I'll make them pay. I think it kind of cool. He gets his point across. None of this, what the hell's that one? K&R, that law firm, K&R. Hurt in a car, call K&R. I always, I have a second part to that commercial. Hurt in a car, call K&R. Hurt in a truck, oh, you're fucked. I haven't used him in ages, but I stay in touch with him. And I've had him for years. Before he did the I'll make them pay commercials. Oh, he's the nicest guy on earth. Absolutely. On TV, he does look like an ass. I'll make them pay. Nicest guy you ever wanted to meet. Yeah, as a matter of fact, oh, God. It was. I ran into him right after. What the hell is it? K&R. Kisslinger, Neslico, and Redding or something. K&R. When they started that hurt in a car, call K&R. And I said to Tim, I says, well, they never finished the commercial. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, hurt in a car, call K&R. Hurt in a truck, oh, you're fucked. He told me I was a sick son of a bitch. And then he said, I like that. I'm going to tell him next time I see him. I was like, oh, thank you. Don't use my name. Almost as bad as the other one, Friedman, Damiano, and Smith. Yeah, I kind of thought that they should finish the commercial, instead of leaving them hanging, hurt in a car, call K&R. Well, hurt in a truck, oh, you're fucked. Yeah, God, I probably haven't talked to Tim in 5 years, easy. I stay in touch, though, just in case I need him. Remember me? He goes, no. Get serious. Ugh. Goddamn humidity. Ugh. I'll tell you a good one. You talk about attorneys. Back in the mid 70s, I got rear ended. And I mean, I got rear ended real well. I had fucking whiplash and sore back for about a month. So, oh God, I can't remember the name of the law firm. So, a friend of mine goes, use my lawyer. Tell him I sent you. So, we start a case against the guy that hit me. And one day I had an appointment. And I walked in and I said, oh, I need to see so and so. And the vibe in the law office was really strange. And his secretary said, well, he's not here right now. I said, what do you mean he's not here? I got an appointment with him. Well, one of the senior partners in the law firm hustled me into an office and said, I'll be taking your case over. I was like, why? My attorney got busted for possession of cocaine. Needless to say, I didn't use that law firm anymore after we settled my accident claim. Yep, nothing like having your attorney get busted for possession of cocaine. I hope he had a good attorney. Believe me, after he drove off, Linda, the thought did cross my mind that I could have been in a precarious situation. Especially laying in the parking lot with a 8-inch steak knife sticking out of the middle of my chest. It'd been my lucky to run over me as he was pulling out of the parking lot. You have my email? I'll give you my email, but in the caption line, put it's Sherry so I know it's not spam. Got a pencil? Piece of paper? Tell me when you're ready, Sherry. Pencil and paper. That's another thing, Linda. I don't even know if the guy had a driver's license. He could be here illegally. Are you ready to write, Sherry? It's DWL 2 WDWL275 at AOL.com. Just in the subject line, put "It's Sherry" so I know, because if I don't recognize in the morning, I do a mass delete. And then you can write me a book. It'll be my morning reading. There were some lurkers the other day. I did get some strange emails. No, lowercase. Lowercase DWL275 at AOL.com. No fancy, like the shit nowadays. You gotta have a capital letter and a lowercase letter and a number and a symbol, and Christ, if goddamn passwords get any more confusing. No capital letters. Oh. And then they're getting worse. Because if I have to change a password, I kind of reformulate the previous password. And then, like the one the other day kept saying, "Oh, that's too close to your old one." So I reformulated it again. "That's still too close to your old one." So I took my old password and I put $3 and then it went through. Oh, you got to have a capital letter and a number and a symbol and then another number and then another. Oh. And they're getting worse because, like the one the other day, it had to be 10 letters or more. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was like, I have an older laptop. And the other night, I decided I'd fire it up and update it. I couldn't remember the password that went with that laptop. Now, usually, I write it somewhere on the laptop or, nope, couldn't find it. Well, with goddamn micro hard, after the third try, it locks you out. You have to wait 24 hours to try it again. Well, I got locked out again. So this morning I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I using for a password 5 years ago? And then it came to me. Pain in ass. I put pain in ass, opened right up. So now my passwords are pain in ass at 1 or pain in ass $1. Makes it easy for me to remember. Well, it's like my goddamn bank. They want you to change your password every 6 months. I have a hard enough time remembering the password. So that's what I started using. Pain in ass at 1 or pain in ass $1. Pain in ass $1. That's what all my passwords are going to be now. Makes them easy to remember. I just can't remember how many $signs I used. Well, me too, Kathy. I used to write them. I used to have one of them little notebooks. Then I lost the notebook. Yeah, but you don't know how many $signs. I remember back in the day, you had a password and you never had to change it unless somebody hacked you. Now, everybody wants you to change your password 2, 3, 4 times a year. Jesus. That's like if I have to call AOL tech support, they ask you for your email and your password. I locked my password in like 20 years ago when I started AOL. I don't remember what it was. They're like, well, we need to know. Well, look it up. You've got it in your records. I have a friend who has a different email for every friend she emails. No two people get an email from the same email account. It'll be like Pat 1, Pat 2, Pat 3, Pat 4, Pat 5. I think I'm Pat 11. I'm like, what's the big deal? Yeah. If I send Kathy an email, it would be like Grumpy 1. Then Linda would be Grumpy 2. Ron would be Grumpy 3. Sherry'd be Grumpy 4. It makes no sense. I told her, I says, every time you go to check your email, you have to log into each and every one of them accounts. I have a hard enough time logging in to one. Well, that's like in my benefits with AOL. They have something where it'll store all your passwords for you. I don't trust that shit. Put in all my accounts and all my passwords, and too much shit gets hacked today the way it is. Not like I've got a couple $1,000,000 in the bank for somebody to hack. Of course, some of the horror stories I've read lately where people open up loans in your name. I read one the other day. Some woman, she's like $200,000 in debt because somebody got her personal information and opened up fucking charge cards all over the place. I'm like, that's scary to think, like, right now, there's 27 charge cards out in my name floating around in cyberspace that I'm responsible for. Although, one thing I like, the card I've got with Chase, if something looks funny, they notify you right away. Like when some guy in China got, I don't know how the hell he got my goddamn card number. He was charging Ubers and lunch and flowers and dinners, and I get a phone call from Chase. Are you traveling in China right now? What? I can't travel to the corner store right now. I take it none of these charges are yours? No. Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's an interesting phone call to get. Are you traveling in China? What? Am I traveling in China? I don't even have a passport. Well, then I take it you didn't just take an Uber ride? No. Okay. Don't worry about it. Wiped off my account. Of course, the pain in the ass is then they send you a new card. Well, then I have to go into PayPal and put the card in. Have to go into Amazon and put the card in. Have to go into my bank auto pay and put the card in. Like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, Chase sent me a printout. The guy was in Guangdong, China. I guess that's how you pronounce it, Guangdong. Yeah, he charged flowers, lunch, couple of Uber rides, a hotel room. And I get a phone call. you traveling in China? No, but I have a lot of shit here in my house that's made in China. Even Chase couldn't figure out how the hell the guy got my card number. Because I asked the security department, I said, how in the hell did he get my card number? We don't know. Yeah, I think probably the lunch and the flowers and the motel room were all him and his girlfriend cheating on his wife. That's why he didn't use his own credit card. Yeah, it was flowers. Oh, something at a gift store, a lunch, and an Uber ride. I had the printout here. I was going to talk about it one night. I don't know what I did with it. But they were right on it. Wiped it right off my account. Sent me a new card. And then, what I really love. Now, in a way, it's great. They send the card in a nondescript envelope. Okay? I'm going through the mail one day. Junk, 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 junk. Threw it out. Threw the card out. And then a couple of weeks later, so when are you sending that card? We sent it out 14 days ago. Oh, I think I threw it away. Okay, we'll send you a new card. This time, pay attention. Now, why send it out in a nondescript envelope if you can feel in the envelope it's a credit card? Anybody nowadays knows that that little hard thing in the envelope is a credit card. What good does the nondescript envelope do? Except for dummies like me that think it's junk mail and I throw it away. Although I didn't feel the envelope, I just went, junk, in the garbage. And then I called and said, when are you going to send me that replacement card? We did 14 days ago. Oh, you sent it in a nondescript envelope? Yes. I threw it away. Then they told me, don't throw this one away. All right, gee, give me a break. Yeah, but you know, nowadays hardly anybody questions. I mean, like, most of the places around here are that fucking tap to pay. They don't even see the credit card. You know, you tap the machine and it goes to. They don't know if you're using your card or someone else's card. Unless it's, you know, somebody like Chase. where if something looks a little odd, they call and go, because once I bought something off of eBay, and evidently to them it didn't look right. And they called me. And I said, yeah, I made that purchase. Okay. Hang on. Looks like my neighbor has guests. I just saw a lot of suitcases being unloaded from the trunk of the car. Which basically, if it was like last year, there'll be a party over the weekend with a lot of loud people and Mexican music. Oh boy. Looks like it's going to be a fun weekend for Grumpy. Well, the only card I've got is Chase. And it'll come right up on my phone. Chase, what the hell does it say? Doesn't say security. Loss prevention. On the caller ID, it'll say Chase Loss Prevention. And they don't ask me for anything. All they said was, are you traveling in China right now? No. But we have some questionable charges on your account. Well, I'm not in China. What are the charges? Flowers, gift store purchase, lunch, and Uber. I said no, 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 and no. And then they just shut the card down, wiped them off my account, and sent me a new card. Twice. Because I threw the first one away. I get so much shitty goddamn junk mail, I don't even pay any attention. If I don't recognize the return address, in the garbage it goes. Unfortunately, the brand new credit card went right in the garbage. And they had to send me another one. And canceled the one I threw away. I said, well, I didn't even activate it. What are you canceling it for? Although, some of these cards, you just call the number, nobody answers, and it automatically activates. I would like to speak with a live person. I actually have two. I have one with Chase and I got one with PNC, which is my bank. But I rarely use it. I have to use it once every 6 months. It's a pain in the ass. So, what I do, I buy a couple packs of cigarettes. Then I come home and I go in on my PNC account and pay the bill immediately. Which they don't like because they don't get to charge you any interest, you know. If I don't recognize a caller, I let it go to voicemail. And my voicemail says, basically, I have not recognized your number. If it's important, leave a voicemail and I will return your call. And that way they know immediately why I didn't answer. And most of the time it's goddamn spam or that because I don't get voicemail. But that's the way my voicemail is set up. I didn't answer because I don't recognize your number. If it's important, leave a voicemail. I'll return your call. And if it's like one of these goddamn robocallers, although the only time I got incapacitated with goddamn robocallers was election time. But if I get a call and it's nobody I recognize or a number I don't recognize, I just let it go to voicemail. Now my voicemail said, the reason I didn't answer is I didn't recognize who you are. And that way, if it's important, they'll leave a voicemail. If it's a bullshit call, I don't get a voice. And if I look down and it'll say, like I got one this afternoon, it said spam. It said spam right over. Matter of fact, I got two. But it says spam. I just ignore it. Or I'll swipe down and it deletes the call. And what's interesting, how I can get phone calls and they all come up spam and my phone never rings. This is something that confounds me. I'll go through my call register and it'll say like phone call at 5 p.m. spam. And the phone didn't even ring. How can I get a phone call and my phone don't ring? All right, Mrs. M. Have a good one. If your phone doesn't ring, how can you get a call? You know, like the one I got the other day, Linda. I was sitting right here. My cell phone is always at the top of the console. It never rang. And I don't know for what reason why I checked my call log. And there's a phone call like at 5:05 p.m. spam. The phone never rang. Believe me. You can't miss my ringtone. It's a theme from the Lone Ranger. It gets a lot of attention. I don't understand how you can get a phone call and it not ring. And those are the ones that come up spam. Let me see how many. All right, perfect example. Today, 4:21 p.m. I was sitting right here. I have a spam phone call. Yesterday, at 2:20 p.m., I have a spam phone call. I was sitting right here. How can I get a phone call when the phone doesn't even ring? But they're spam. I don't know how they do it. It don't ring at all. How big a salad is it, Ron, if you've been eating a salad for an hour? Oh, really? I didn't know consumer did that. Well, I appreciate it. So it auto blocks before it even allows the phone to ring. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like a rabbit. I'm on my third week of salad for dinner. Not that I'm complaining. Yeah, 3 weeks straight. Dinner salad. Although, I like salad. Not to mention, you don't have to cook. And believe me, the fucking humidity today, Jesus Christ. It wasn't bad. And then around 3 o'clock, we got a rainstorm. And now it's ungodly. It's 87, and with the humidity, it feels like 115. Kathy, I like to tell the young kids what it was like back in our day. You had a landline, and if you weren't home, someone had to call you back. Or if somebody answered the phone, they wrote a note. So and so called, call them back. We left the house. We weren't worried about a phone call. Like, oh my God. Nowadays, oh jeez. And the thing that irritates the shit out of me is people that won't get off their goddamn cell phone. They'll walk through the store, grocery shop, got their, goddamn phone on loud. They get up to the cash register, they can't stop their fucking phone call. People are so goddamn ignorant today. And me, I'll tell you what, if I'm driving and my phone rings, I ignore it. That's why I have voicemail. I will not answer the phone while I'm driving. It can wait till I get to my destination, and if it's important, I'll call the person back. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little hard going. Take this! there doesn't have the same effect as when you got pissed off and smashed that phone down. Yeah, here, there. That was a good thing about a landline. If you hung up on somebody and you were pissed, they knew it. Whack! I actually broke a wall phone once doing that. Oops! Yeah. Yeah, I missed that option too. Because people knew you were pissed. Now it's like, take that. There. Aha, gotcha. Doesn't have the same effect. But you know, when we left the house, we left the phone at home. Out of sight, out of mind. Because we didn't have answering machines back in the day. And if people did have them, they had money because answering machines were expensive. And basically, if somebody called your house and didn't get an answer, they knew you weren't home, and if it was important, they'd call you later. I, I'll tell you what, same thing. If I'm grocery shopping and my phone rings and I'm not expecting a call, I ignore it. I don't reach down in my pocket and go, oh God, I gotta answer this. I wait till I get in the parking lot and then I look and go, oh, I ain't calling that, but you know, I used to wear this all the time. My Bluetooth. But you know what? You get too tempted while you're driving along to answer the phone. So I don't even use this anymore. Because I don't, first of all, I don't believe in talking on the phone and driving. And second of all, I want my concentration on what I'm doing. A phone call can wait. But I think I'm one of the few people on earth that think that way because everywhere you go, everybody's on their goddamn phone. And then they got to have it on speaker. I don't want to hear your phone call. There was a woman the other day when I was at Mark's. Has the phone, laying on her purse in the basket in the cart, talking at the top of her lungs. Pick the fucking phone up and put it in your ear. Jesus, I don't want to hear your goddamn phone. People are so ignorant with their phones nowadays. And since every goddamn carrier has, unlimited talk and text, now people, they feel that they have to see if they can talk 365 days straight. When we had minutes, we didn't talk all the time. When you had X number of minutes a month, you weren't on your phone 24/7. I think it's totally ignorant when people have to put their call on speakerphone because they're too fucking lazy to hold it up to their ear. Kind of the worst invention that they ever put on a phone. Because everybody uses it. And if I'm on the phone with somebody and they go, I gotta put you on speaker, I tell them, well, get ready for a lot of cuss words to come out on your end. Oh, okay, never mind. Because if someone puts me on speakerphone, oh, I sound like a truck driver. I'll embarrass the shit out of somebody if they put me on speakerphone. It's almost as bad as I got a friend that he answers the phone in the car and it plays through the whole car. And I tell him, if you're not going to pull over and put your cell phone up to your ear, I'm going to do a lot of cussing and swearing in the car here while we're riding along. But Kathy, if I use my Bluetooth, I'm too apt to answer the phone, and it can wait. There is no phone call that is that important to me that it can't wait. Even if I'm waiting for my doctor's office to call for some reason, if they call while I'm shopping or driving, it can wait. Because I won't even look at my phone to see who's calling. I wait until I'm dead stopped, and then I'll call them. And then I will tell them, I'm sorry I couldn't answer the phone, I was driving. I don't even look at the phone. Yeah, Linda, but are you grocery shopping? I mean, there are sometimes I'll put my phone on speaker here because I'm doing something and it's just more convenient. But I'm not in the grocery store with my phone on speaker. Yeah, like if I'll call my doctor's office and, press 1, press 9, press 37, and then you get the concert music. Then I'll put it on speaker. I'll leave it sit here on the desk. But I the only time I would be on the phone when I was driving was when I was working for the limousine service. Because if the dispatcher called, then I had to answer the phone. But once I quit driving for them, I hung the old Bluetooth up. Every now and then I charge it to make sure it's still working. But I haven't used that thing in probably a couple of years. And I'll tell you what, it is sensitive. I mean, I like it because it's got the microphone on it. But I very rarely take it with me. Now I have this one. If I if I'm sitting here at the desk working, now I use this one right here in the house because I can be doing whatever. Oh, I love this one. Because a lot of times, like if I call the doctor, they'll say, okay, take this information down, Then I don't have to put the phone down. I'll tell you, my neighbor's wife, I think the phone is permanently attached to her ear. I I never saw a woman that's always on the phone. Always. I don't know who the hell she talks to so much. Yeah, make sure the door was shut. That's all I could do. I mean, she'll leave the house, she's on the phone. She comes home from work, she's on the phone. She's out doing yard work. She's on the phone. Who the hell is she talking to so much? I'm rarely on my phone. I actually dislike, since all the shit is going to press 1, press 9, press 37, I hate to make phone calls anymore. And I'm one of the biggest ones opposed to it. I don't think you have to press 1 for English. That's like the one department I have to call at the hospital. Of course, you have to press 1 for English. Then you have to press 1 in rapid succession, 1 and then 1 again, and then 3, and then 5, and you finally get through to the department you want. I'd be like, Jesus Christ. And I'm the first one to admit, I showed you my Motorola brick. When cell phones came out, oh my God, I had to have one. Because it was a prestige. Oh, Grumpy's got a cell phone. And then over the years, I don't even want to be on the phone. I know, pain in the ass. That's like perfect example, okay? My cousin lives up in Rhode Island. We would email at least 3 times a week to stay in touch. Then she got a bug up her ass that goes, I would rather talk on the phone. Sorry, not me. We were doing fine, emailing back and forth 3 times a week. Oh, I'd rather be on the phone now. Well, good, you can be on the phone with somebody else, not me. And one of the reasons I hate, because a lot of times you can't get off the phone. I'll be like, okay, see you, bye. Oh, wait a minute, one more thing. Blah, 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 blah. 20 minutes goes by. Okay, see you, bye. Wait a minute, one more thing. Oh, with an email I can end it. Click. like I said, cell phones were the best and the worst invention at the same time. Because some people just abuse the shit out of them. I don't want to talk on the phone for hours. Same thing with my shopping. I'm in and out. Same thing with a phone call. When I'm done saying what I got to say, see you, bye. Click. Now, my doctor's office is the same way. If I don't answer today, they'll call tomorrow. Unless it's something extremely important. And then they'll leave a voicemail. This is important. Please call back ASAP. Okay. But now they got this system, are you going to be at your appointment? Yes. Okay. Then they call you the next day. Your appointment is at, 1 o'clock. Are you going to be here? I told you yes yesterday. And then they want you to e-check-in. Why should I e-check-in if when I get to the hospital, I have to check in anyway? The e-check-in don't allow me to walk right up to my appointment. That still, to me, makes no sense. Why do I have to go online and check in if when I get to the hospital, I have to stand in line and check in anyway? Well, I think it's about that time, people. I'm sweating my ass off. I'm going to grab a quick dinner and a nice cold shower. And then crank the air conditioning up in my bedroom because the humidity, I feel like a sponge. Oh, I hate it when it rains and then the humidity goes berserk. I am soaked. I really am. I am soaked. I've gone through every frickin' headband. They're all soaking wet. Well, at least it calmed my nerves down from my accident. With that, everybody, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Stay cool, because I'm going to cool off here shortly. And with that, I will see you again tomorrow night.